And thank you, distinguished guests and Atri, for inviting me to this important symposium. And I hope looking forward to a great start. So I'll take you to a different journey. Let me take you to the product cybersecurity. Taiwan is one of the world's largest IoT manufacturers, smart city equipment, and this is what the sectors that we serve. Karamba provides end-to-end solutions, and as developers in the crowd, you will reciprocate with what we do. Uh, what is our mission is to enable product cybersecurity compliance, protection, and monitoring throughout the life of the devices, wherever they are deployed. We were established with Wild Ventures seed funding. You've seen Offer before. In 2016, we have so far secured more than 20 million contract to secure more than 20 million devices. We take pride at being agnostic to operating systems, CPUs, chipsets, as well as applications, which makes us enable to do a lot of projects in which we done. We secured patents all along the process, even before the company was established, and the core patents were already granted. The brand is quite well known, twice in Japan, three times in the US for automotive. Gartner, cool vendor, Forbes twice as one of the 20 IoT companies to watch. A snapshot of what sectors we currently serve and some key customers. As you can see, almost all of them are leaders in their own domain. We started with automotive, as Renan mentioned, but we are more and more focused on EVs, electric vehicle platforms, and their ecosystem with renewable energy. So you can see here companies like VinFast, who is not only a customer, but also an investor in Karamba. Canoe, Nikola, the EV truck company, Stellantis, former FCA, Volvo Cars, Volvo Trucks, Paytech from China, and you can read it for yourself. The reciprocating, as I mentioned, is the renewable energy. So SolarEdge is a very large customer of ours, more than 1.5 million devices secured and monitored all over the world. AP System is a microinverter company from China and California, ChargePoint charging stations. And then you'll see why we also serve the edge devices. So HP announced 2 months ago, not yet announced, but already started deploying secured printers, business printers. Samsung is a customer, channel, and an investor in Karamba. Hitachi is a customer, Stanley and Zebra. So what drives the market? Why is there a need for product cybersecurity regulation? It's no longer a ransomware attack, and no offense, guys, on the enterprise side. This is a requirement. The regulators have noticed that the endpoint devices, the products themselves, do serve a conduit to hackers to penetrate into organizations. So and you can see it's very recent, very fresh. So the two standards on the EV and automotive connected vehicle were ratified in summer last year. And from June, next month, whoever wants to sell a car in the European Union region needs to show compliance with cybersecurity on platforms, on smart mobile mobility platforms. SunSpec is in the making, mostly protecting the inverters. And this is what we do with at least two customers. There is for medical, we are not there yet. IC, industrial control, and NIST, federal government and agencies do not allow connecting any devices that are edge devices that are not connected. Similarly, you've seen HP, Zebra, and others. So what is that we offer to customers? We start with the basic product itself, and we go all along to the cloud for future analysis and monitoring. And it starts with design. We do the threat analysis, risk assessment, pen testing, code review, and then binary analysis, allowing with one of our products, allowing R&D people to scan and rescan and get recommendation what to fix before anything is even reaches the deployment stage. Once deployed, there is a protection, And I'll tell you a secret, what's common to the IoT devices. They are all single purpose machines. This is why we could serve different applications. If it's an ECU in the car, if it's a printer, if it's a solar inverter, they all have one thing in common. Their code is not supposed to be changed by the end customer. So end user cannot change. And we eliminate the possibility uh, um, to change the code or introduce unauthorized changes to the code. Once there is an authorized change, there are ways to authenticate that. Then our software, which is embedded in during the build, will detect the authorized change and reseal it to protect it against threats post code review. So VCode, that's the tool that R&D people are using. This is a number of scans where the first thing they get, and everybody was talking, or at least I've heard some, talking about supply chain. It's the same when you talk about product. Developers are very focused on applications. They get the operating system, they get libraries, open source, whatever they download, but they have no clue, nothing about cybersecurity vulnerabilities introduced through the supply chain. So this is a recommendation engine, and they can keep on scanning and know what CVs are in libraries, what unsecured binaries are still out there, and keep on improving to the point that they can eliminate the number of vulnerabilities. The next thing is introduce the runtime integrity, the sealing, quote unquote, of the binaries. And by the way, we don't need a source code. So we talk about, there were discussions here about automation. Absolutely. Our software integrates itself automatically, hands-free. R&D people don't need to understand cybersecurity. Agnostic, as we discussed before, and I'll show you some examples, and negligible performance overhead. The reason being, all those IoT devices have limited computing resources and memory, and we needed to feed to legacy generations and other limitations, and we did all that. So during the implementation of our XGuard, we introduced 15 security indicators from application all the way down to IO communication, which later serves also for monitoring purposes. This is a true screen of one of our customers. The middleware. So how do we do that? How do we become agnostic? And this is the unique middleware, the IP we've developed. And you can pick and choose. It doesn't matter what the application is, what in the automotive, what in the edge devices, the chipset, most chipsets in the IoT space are already covered, and operating system. The next thing we are working now this year is on AutoSAR. So basically, there is no limitation for our software to be integrated into a product. And this is what we introduced, 3 layers. Remember, less than 5% performance overhead, 3 layers of protection against droplet type of attacks, whitelisting applications, and when a binary comes and it doesn't have our hash, it's not supposed to be there, it's blocked. So it's deterministic. The next thing is, it's our claim to fame, is the CFI, control for integrity. We see binaries only, image of binaries in our software. You can think of it like automatically reverse engineering and creating the calling graph. That's our reference for the runtime. Every time there is a command, we check that it goes from legitimate address to a legitimate address and returns new value to the previous address, because there is a new family of attacks called fileless attacks, or buffer overflow, or in-memory attacks, where a hacker can reach the memory through a vulnerability found by him and try to kidnap one of the processes. The third one is those 15 indicators at runtime, where we can indicate at runtime and operational life if somebody is trying to introduce or prepare an attack on an IP address or similar. So this is the ecosystem. We start with the device, start our pen testing through the product SDLC, binary analysis, as I show you, the scans, and then the toolchain integration of our XGuard. And it doesn't matter what the platform is. And at the end of the day, it's everything in the cloud assessed. And now we're going for the vulnerability management system, because it also is required by the regulation, where you have things, products that are deployed for many years out there in different facilities, and then there is a new information coming about new CVEs, bug bounties, etc. How do you relate that to your environment and to your subcontractors? Use cases. Maybe that will kind of uh, make it clear to you. So SolarEdge is a customer 1.5. This is keeps on updating with thousands by the week. So 1.5 million devices currently secured and monitored. AP system follows suits with first with Vcode, our binary analysis tool, and now XGuard. In the automotive, Alps Alpine have been our first customer in the automotive, protecting infotainment, high-end infotainment systems. Hitachi, high-end surveillance cameras. HP, that's from 2 months ago in their website, and see how they differentiate themselves from the rest. The world most secure printing. The team is great. I keep on learning from all of my partners. Two from the IDF 8200 and embedded cybersecurity, and Checkpoint. David, a serial entrepreneur, whom I have known from my VC days and even before. CFO, with me many years from my funds days, and COO, Amir, who was a product manager at ArcSight for 9 years. Thank you very much. I hope I wasn't too fast.